Hello. Welcome to the first NSFW Horizon Zero Dawn stream. Why is it NSFW? Because it's 18. It's an adult now. We're gonna start getting all adult up in here with our. I don't even know what I'm saying. Welcome to part 18. Thank you very much for hanging out here and making it all the way to this part and journeying with me through the side quests that we've been doing and thinking about this storm bird that we're about to go take down. I am so grateful that you are willing to hang out with me and that you watch these. If you leave thumbs ups and you leave comments, you're even more cool. And if you want to talk shit in the comments, I encourage you to put a timestamp so I know what you're talking shit about. That would be cool. I would appreciate it if you did that, if you're going to talk shit in the comments. All right. Follow all the other links. Come hang out with us on Twitch. I love you all. Thanks for your support. Let's do this. What up, bird? Get to this wide open field. Dun 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 dun. Dude, you missed.
That hurt it.
Woo! Oh, she got me. Yep, come on down. Come on down! Right on top of me. Stupid ass bird. You're just a chicken. You're not even that cool. You're just a chicken bird. You're a chicken bird. Got your fancy little doodads. I'm gonna jump off the mountain because I don't know where the hell I'm going. Take that!
Now I better find and disable any doors.
Haven't you seen me like take out all your friends, man? You didn't stand a chance. Play this shit on story mode, bitch.
Done. No more lures. Now about this workshop.
This is actually kind of cool. What do we got here? Parchment ink, many pages filled with erratic handwriting. Let me step all over.
So Derval was behind these lures. Brilliant. And dangerous. Now to bring word back to Pitchcliff.
Tattered letter. Dearest cogs and puppets, you miserable bungs have failed to find me again. Your attempts to capture me would make me laugh if I weren't so busy running circles around you and your so-called intelligence gathering. Or just give up. Better yet, kill yourselves and save me the effort, you worthless slags. Never yours, Derval. Jeez. Somebody get under your skin, big fella? Return to alert. This way? What the purpose of this little tunnel is. Alright, so we gotta go back down the mountain. Yeah, we'll just fast travel it. See what they say about this.
I don't think I can survive another attack.
Don't worry, buddy. I just got rid of all those little things that this guy's trying to sell to everybody. Cold turkey.
You'll be happy to know I found another one of those lures and destroyed it. Should be the last you'll hear of it.
By fire and spit, you went above and beyond. How do you know there won't be any more?
The workshop where I found it was long abandoned. You're safe.
Good. My troops want to spit and shake your hand, as my brother would have. On behalf of Pitchcliff and my family, I thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for not initiating an unsanitary cultural norm. My man. All right. Remote Banuk camp. See, all right. See, we're at a point now where I have to decide. Do I want to go up to Banuk lands and deal with Banuk, or do I want to go to the Grave Horde? I think I probably need to go to the Grave Horde. We still don't know enough. We'll go hit up those Banuk a little later on. Then we can get these guys. That'll be pretty nifty. So that means we're going to we're going up there anyway. Hold on. No, we're going to. I want to deal with Ursa first. Let's go deal with Ursa first before we go to the Banuk lands. Yeah. All right. Make the long trek to Meridian. See what's up here. Get Ursa squared away, and we're gonna go up north to El Norte. Man, these load times must have sucked ass back on the PS4. All right.
The sun shines on hard wood. Come take a look.
To the Palace of the Sun King. Avad! Oh, he's not up there. Where are you, buddy?
They're fighting machines, pacing around here. Arrested too for disorder.
Man, I wish there was more good stuff for me to read. I want to snoop on the King's literature.
Claim to let everyone know.
If there's anything you or your clan need for her arrangements, you need but ask.
There'll be time for all of that later.
Aloy,
What's up?
I'm glad you're back. I'm at a loss about Ursa. To learn she lives, then lose that hope seems cruel.
She wouldn't want us to waste time talking. She'd want us to find Derval. She said he raved about smoke darkening the sun. Tell him what you found in his papers.
A letter. It mentioned a shipment of blaze being sent to a warehouse here. Only, it wasn't addressed to Derval. The name was Ayland Forgeman. Does that mean anything to you?
Sounds familiar. Yes, a landlord. The Oseram have been buying up buildings across the city, including one under that name. Let me think. It's by the edge of the mesa, near the temple. Used to be a shop, but it could serve as a warehouse. If Derval used the name as an alias to buy it, he might even be there now.
I'll round up my men.
I'll meet you there.
Erend, wait. Remember that no one hates Derval more than your own tribe. The clans would give up much to obtain him.
Take him alive? So you can haggle over him? You can't be serious.
Our security depends on keeping the peace. If the opportunity presents itself, take him alive. Consider that a command. Aloy, a moment, please.
Thanks for the raid, Widgie. I give Avad some credit here. I don't think Erend's personal agenda as it relates to Derval is more important than the greater good. And in your leaders, you want them to acknowledge that. They're not saying don't apprehend him. They're saying don't kill him. And personally, I mean, I can't decide this for Erend, but something tells me that killing Derval is not going to make any of this better. Killing Derval is not going to make him stop drinking. Killing Derval is not going to ease the pain of losing his sister. It's not going to wash away the memory he has of being there with her dying breath. Killing Derval is the easy short-term band-aid. The opportunity, perhaps, to talk to Derval, to see the apprehension of Derval vis-a-vis his sister's demise being part of that, I think is a more of a opportunity to have some good that comes out of this, so that Erend can sink his teeth into that instead of just constantly living in the death of Derval. And this is something that gets overlooked a lot, I think, when people are grieving, particularly people who are grieving that are not as self-aware, and adept is not the right word, but people who don't take grief and the wholeness of it in stride, where you'll take these short-term outs of things that you impulsively think are going to make you feel better, or you turn to certain vices or whatever that you think is going to be the way. And it very rarely is. And Erend, being in a position where he is in some ways emotionally compromised by the death of his sister, and perhaps the trauma he experienced around that, means that Avad has to step in here and keep him in line, because Erend wields power. He's dangerous in that way. Killing Derval, maybe not the worst thing ever, but if there's something more that we can get out of this, it's important for Erend, I think, to have a healthier thing to be able to divert this energy into, rather than just vengeance. It's hard for people who are grieving to hear, particularly if there's grief at the hands of somebody else. But oftentimes that does have a longer term impact.
When we spoke, Erend didn't wish to dwell on the details of Ursa's death. Understandable, of course. But now that they've been left to my imagination, those details are all I can think about. You were there. Did she suffer?
DrMick! Is King Avad triangulating Aloy? Not quite. You might think that he is because of conversations that we've had in other playthroughs, but this is actually appropriate. Aaron didn't say, no, Avad, you're not entitled to that information as far as we know. He didn't purposefully withhold the information because of something to do with Avad. He likely withheld the information because it was painful for him. Aloy was there. Aloy witnessed what happened. So this isn't hearsay. This isn't information that was disclosed to Aloy in confidence by Aaron. This is information she has available because of her own eyes and ears. There was never a conversation between her and Aaron where Aaron said, hey, don't tell Avad the details. That never happened. So Avad asking for this information for his own indulgence and to maybe mitigate some of the anxiety he's experiencing about what happened to her, him asking Aloy is a perfectly appropriate way to get that information because he knows that she was present for it, or at least he assumes that she was present for it. So this is not triangulation in the problematic way that we have consistently talked about in our playthroughs. This is information gathering from an eyewitness who is not compromised by any kind of oath that she gave to Aaron, and there's no verbal agreement between the two of them, thus making it perfectly okay. Because if Avad, and in a lot of ways, I appreciate that Avad is broken up about this. It shows that Avad has empathy for his constituents. It shows that he cares about the influence of these decisions that he's made in the wider world around him, and that's what you want from him. So I love his openness about this. That's an incredibly vulnerable thing for him to say to Aloy, and the fact that he trusts her with that and trusts her with the information, it's a big deal. It's good stuff. I would argue that's perfectly healthy and appropriate. Okay, she thought of you. I don't like that answer because, one, I don't recall. I mean, I guess she mentioned Avad kind of, but whether she was thinking about him feels a little bit weird. This isn't the time I don't think is appropriate either. Is that what you're really asking? I'm kind of inclined to go with, is that what you're really asking? Just to get a feel for... I guess I want to know a little bit more about... She thought of you feels weird. That doesn't really match. That almost feels like I'm trying to smooth it over and make him feel better about it. I'm going to say, is that what you're really asking? Because if it is, if he says, no, truly, yes, I want to know what, then that's fine. So, is that what you're really asking? I think it's okay for me to go there.
She's not the one who's suffering now. You are. She died before you could say goodbye.
Is it that obvious?
Yes, that's literally what happened. That's not at all where I thought Aloy was going to go with that. I mean, I'm being, I guess, a little bit judgy here of Aloy, but like, that's just like what happened, I guess. Like, that's just the facts. Like, I don't know that adds much. It certainly isn't asking him a question that I thought she was going to ask him. I was trying to get like some curiosity going there. Now, to give Aloy, if I give Aloy the benefit of the doubt here, I think perhaps that was an attempt for Aloy to empathize, like to essentially say, you know, you didn't get to say goodbye to her. That must be really tough. But her voice tone there was a little bit odd with that. I don't know. That felt weird to me.
You're right. I'm dwelling on my pain, not just hers. And there's only one thing left that can help.
That's fine. That's fine. What? Okay, so now I think I get it. I think essentially what Aloy is insinuating there is, how dare you make this about you? Which, like, she's dead. So she doesn't exactly have feelings anymore, and what's she gonna do about it or say about it? Like that, it's sort of weird. So for her to be like, oh, how you're making this about you? Aaron's not here. Aloy's certainly not broken up about it because she didn't know who that even was until 5 days ago. So to tell Avad that he is making this about him, and how dare you, is super weird, because when somebody dies and everybody is grieving, they are going to have emotional experiences about it. They are going to speak to their experience, and that's perfectly okay. So like Avad is sitting here broken up about this and sad about it and wants information about what happened, and Aloy's like, how dare you make it about you? It's a bit of a misfire for me. That is not the direction I thought that dialogue wheel was going to take us. It's really not. I thought that we were going to ask him what it said, which is essentially like, is that what you're asking me for, or could you clarify what it is that you're needing from me, or whatever? Is there a particular part of her dying moments that you want to know more about, so I can tread lightly around what I share? I mean, that's what I thought she was going to do, but whatever.
Find Derval and bring him before me. He will answer for his crimes. Don't let me delay you any longer. Meet Erend at the warehouse.
That is such a nice little... That is a nice... I know that that was very subtle and said in passing, but I want to give Avad some more credit here. Think of how many times you've ever seen kings or people in unilateral positions of power conceptualize the entire world as getting in their way. Avad's recognition there verbally to Aloy that he is perhaps interrupting her and is in her way, one, shows a level of humility that I think is very important for a person in his position to have, and two, it shows a level of respect for Aloy. So I really admire him being in that position of power and acknowledging that for her and saying it in that way, because it is, you add that to the pile of things that Avad is doing to try to separate this idea that every single person in this world is subservient to him. That instead he also, by virtue of existing and being who he is, can be in the way of another person who perhaps is less important. That's fantastic. Like, I really respect that. Now let's read his diary. The Sun Kings. The Chronicle of the Sun Kings. The founder, Ahriman, who guided our forefathers from the shadows of the savage east into the fastness of the Mesa Valley, and who, reading the signs of sun and shadow both, delivered them to the sight of Holy Meridian. The bounteous Amavad, who oversaw the clearing and sowing of the royal maize lands, so that none who walked in the sun's favor should go hungry again, who cut back the jewel to claim the rich estate lands for his first houses of the Sun Court. The far-seeing Sadahin, who expanded the sun's dominion to the north, south, and east, setting a gate at Bright Market Harbor, and who before the sun at its highest proclaimed these lands would be known as the Karja Sundom. So by the light it was good. Generous Juwadan, who stocked the metal markets with the spoils of his own trampler hunts, and who allowed trade from north and south, even permitting outlanders the gift of the counting glyphs so they might understand more than simple barter. Zavarad, the pilgrim Sun King, whose tower was raised to the top of the ridge of Vales, and who crossed the great waters of the daybreak, so the Sundom might extend ever further, and to honor this passage had the great blazon arch raised on the far shores. Bold Erive, who saw the sun's passing into the west as a challenge, and forged after it with a great army, to be pushed back 3 times at the great canyon lands that would be known as the Daunt, until the 4th time his cohort broke through and were vanished in the lands beyond. Prudent Basadid, who had the mantle of his fallen brother thrust upon him suddenly, who ordered the construction of the fortress of Sunfall and the garrison at Blazon Arch, declaring the land beyond it the forbidden west where only the sun may go. Huvadin, the returner, who strove to bring civilization to the savage east, but returned after many strenuous endeavors, saying it was no longer fit for the people of the sun, and called for the building of great towers and walls so this wild land might be observed safely. Renan, the Firebird, who saw the Sundom suffer unprovoked attack by the Tanakth God, I can never say that right. The Tanakth horde, who would, against the protests of his advisors, accompanied his army to confront them. Under the sun, he claimed victory, though he was so greatly scarred, he wore his blazon helmet from that day. Nahasis, who was a hunter as much as a sun king, and called for the proudest men of the noble houses to prove themselves in competition beneath the sun, and that those who felled the greatest machines would be situated as the first Sunhawk and Hawks of the Hunter's Lodge. The illuminated Marzid, who the sun visited with visions so vivid and grand, he commissioned many statues and frescoes of his visage in Meridian, and for his summer palace in Sunfall had the great citadel raised, where he remained painting until he took deathly ill from his own pigments. Oof. Hivas, elder brother of Marzid, who decreed each family with a suitable male child should submit that child in service of the Sundom's then depleted ranks, and had the artisans turn their attention from works of art to outfitting each soldier of the sun with the very finest armor, halberd, and bow. Jiran, who in his early years was a strong Sun King, defending the Sundom from the encroachment of other tribes and the derangement of the machines, but who became greatly addled and ordered the spilling of much blood in the sun's name, threatening to bring a twilight time upon us. Avad, the Liberator. Tanakth. Okay, good to know. Hey Avad, cool diary, bro. All right, so we go to the warehouse. All right. Going to the warehouse. Gonna find a bad guy. Out here in Meridian. Gonna be the Sunhawk. Stick it to the Nora. Praised by the Karja.
Machines or bandits try to get past me, they'll have a fight. Everyone needs a splash of color in their lives. Come, let's talk it over.
Able-bodied adventurers.
Nope, not into it, buddy.
Friends or family, but I'm not choosy.
Here we go.
This is the place. You home, Derval? I got a surprise for you.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Or he has a surprise for us.
Is it a bomb? Doesn't look too big.
Big enough to kill us.
All right. I'll shut up.
Oh boy. So, Aaron, I saw this in an episode of Game of Thrones one time. I don't know if you'd remember it. It's from like 990 years ago. It's a shitty ending to the series, but okay, regardless. Anyway, I've seen this happen before. This is not good. Bomb squad.
If I try to take it apart, a booby trap will set it off.
Yep. No boobas in here. We can't have that. Everybody tread lightly.
That's a lot of blaze.
If that bomb downstairs goes off, it'll be just what Derval promised. Smoke will darken the sun. as the city goes up in flames. There's gotta be a way to stop it. It looks like a wooden bracket. Not very strong.
Yeah! Just push it onto the poor people. They'll be fine. No problem. As long as we don't blow up the rich part, let's just chuck these barrels into the ocean or down onto the poor folks down below. No big deal.
Help me push this out.
Sucks to suck.
Brute force, I'm good at that. What'll it do?
Save the city, I hope. But when the blaze falls, run for it. Because the booby trap on the bomb downstairs is gonna get set off.
Will we survive?
Probably not. Now push. Ugh.
We did it! Derval's best shot, and Meridian's still standing.
This isn't over. Derval said he'd make Avad watch.
No way. To do that, he'd have to get into the palace, and that's too heavily guarded.
Get back there, just to be sure. I'm gonna look around.
Just for the sake of, we're going to talk about what just happened in a second, but just for the sake of looking at the like psychological consistency of Erend, did you all notice what I've pointed out many times? He does it like it is just boom. He doesn't even think about it. Such an autopilot process. Aloy puts an idea out there. She thinks critically about what's happening. And Erend immediately says, "No, it cannot be." This dude does not like to step out of his conceptual boxes at all. His immediate response is, "It cannot be so." That is a form of, in some ways, I guess, self-preservation from the dissonance that he would experience to open himself up to the idea that maybe things are not exactly as he thinks they're going to be. Like his level of rigidity around his expectations, I think, causes a significant amount of anxiety in his life. We see it with himself. We see it with his sister. We see it with these little moments where we're trying to figure out what the potential explanation is. He just immediately shuts it down. You don't want to move through the world like this. I'm not saying you have to sit down and explore every single what if and option. That is not what I am suggesting. But you also don't do very well for yourself from a problem solving standpoint if you constantly say, "No, it cannot be so," when people suggest certain things. I think in some ways, if I was going to dig even deeper into his profile and what we've seen so far, I think because Erend experiences so much insecurity around who he is and the role he occupies, particularly after his sister's death, hearing Aloy suggest an idea that he himself doesn't come up with is a reflection of his own incompetence in his mind. It's the, "Why didn't I think of that?" "Oh, because I'm an idiot." And instead of being like, "That's a pretty interesting idea, maybe we should explore it or talk more about it," Erend immediately says no, I think in some ways as a form of self-preservation around the insecurity. Because if Aloy's right and I didn't think of it, then it's just all the more reason why I'm not capable of being a leader. This is why you have to be so careful about your autopilots and your narratives and your general orientation to yourself and others in your roles, because you can get caught up in this web in a way that you don't even think about anymore. And I think it really is wrapped up in a lot of his insecurities about who he is. Erend has been one of the more interesting characters for us to discuss in depth throughout this playthrough, in my opinion. But I appreciate so much the consistency in how he was written by Guerrilla, because he does this all the time. I would love to know if they intentionally did this.
Maybe Derval's men left something behind when they planted that bomb.
I got it. Don't worry. He tries for the palace. He's finished.
That just felt so irresponsible. It didn't seem like it was a ticking time bomb. It seemed like we had some time. Right? There was no timer on it. We didn't hear beep, beep, beep. Like, Aloy's like, just chuck the barrels off. Don't warn anybody. Like, what if there's some, like, kid walking their dog down there? You just got demolished by barrels. Like, that felt just... I mean, I get it. It's a video game, DrMick. Let it go. But, like, geez. That seemed rather impulsive to me. Given, it didn't seem like there was as much urgency around that. I could be wrong. If there was urgency and I just didn't catch it, then I'm wrong. But now we got shit just on fire. No idea what we dropped that on. Got a whole crowd. Please disperse. Please disperse. Oh God, here they are. You guys, did you bring a hose? No. Man, that's gotta be so hot. Standing here like that. Fire behind your suit of armor. Look at that. Holy hell. Good, yes. We shall guard the fire and please disperse. Make sure none of these people get...
Bring water, or a fire might spread to the hunter's lodge.
This guy's like, hey man, I still want to run my MLM.
There could be explosions elsewhere.
Yeah, what are we doing? Where's the fire department?
Left a candle burning, and that explosion wasn't on purpose. Why did that warehouse explode?
Oh boy. Oh boy. This is gonna be a diplomatic nightmare. Hey man, you ever heard of Monet? Trying to sell me an Herbalife subscription over here and doesn't care about the fire at all. Oh, wait a minute. Pardon me, folks. I need to explore this, apparently. Investigate the area. There we go. I'm trained in the ways of arson. What the hell am I... Oh, here we go.
With just a bit of blaze in them.
There could be explosions elsewhere. Can I interest you in a reasonable share of a lucrative opportunity?
And I know how to put them to use.
What happened? Blast like that since the liberation.
Everyone needs a splash of color in their lives. Come, let's talk it over.
Boy.
There's smoke rising from the edge of the mesa.
Are we under attack? The tracks lead inside. Another one of Derval's hideouts.
The amount of mass panic. This is just terrible. This is bad all around. Oh.
This must be where Derval assembled the detonator. He tunneled through the wall. Derval did find a way into the palace.
Damn. Ooh, he's one mean-looking dude. Let's go. But first, hello, Trey. Welcome. Hello, friends. Those of you coming along with the fantastic A-Trey, welcome in. If you don't know who I am, I'm DrMick. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. I have a PhD in human development, and you are coming in on game sessions with a therapist where we play cool games like Horizon Zero Dawn. We use them to illustrate psychology and mental health and talk about those things. And stuff happens in the game. I pause, I analyze, and we have really cool discussions as a result of it. So I'm an educational channel first and foremost. And I do discuss mental health, psychology, and therapy in a responsible and ethical way. I don't do therapy on stream. I do answer questions related to mental health, usually at the start of streams. And I pause frequently. This is a spoiler-free run of Horizon Zero Dawn. So please err on the side of caution with questions that you ask. Or... don't ask, have I gotten to X point yet? We'll get you caught up on where we are in chat if you have questions about what we've done so far. But this game has been really fantastic. I'm enjoying it a lot. If you want to check some of my other playthroughs out, check my YouTube. Got Red Dead Redemption 2, Grand Theft Auto 5, Detroit Become Human, Last of Us 1 and 2, Mass Effect, Dragon Age Origins. We got a whole bunch down in there. So definitely encourage you to check those out. So feel free to stick around. Trey, I hope you had a wonderful stream. Thank you so much for bringing folks over here. I'm grateful for the support. And yeah, we're rocking. So stick around. You'll see how we do this. So appreciate if you do stick around through the raids. If you stuck through Widgie's raid, thank you so much. All right. Okay, so wait a second. So did we push that down? So we pushed that down into a canyon. Maybe. I can't see the smoke. Instead of into the city. It looked like we dropped it into the city. Okay. Woo! Yeah, just skip that other one, Aloy. Let's go. Why on earth is that ladder here? Who is... OSHA would not be pleased with this. I feel better knowing that we dropped it on wildlife, I guess. Hey!
Wish I could be there to...
Hey!
Bad day for one of us.
Oh boy. Whoa, buddy. That guy lunged hard. These medicinal shrooms. You can microdose them later, baby. Derval.
Look at you, Avad. The wriggling runt of a maniac king. You robbed me of my right to kill your father, so I'll have to settle for you. I'm going to enjoy watching the Karja burn, even more because you'll be watching with me. Say goodbye to Meridian, Avad. Breathe in the stench, and choke on the ashes. Something's wrong.
Did he not hear the explosion that we just set off? Oh, he didn't, because he doesn't have his thing in. Oh, what an idiot. Dude, he put those earmuffs on, and those earmuffs are his demise. What a loser. Got his AirPods in like an idiot. Way to go, Aloy.
It didn't? I didn't hear anything.
There's a bit of smoke rising from the mesa's edge.
No! It should be a firestorm, not some belch from a charcoal burner!
Glad I have my earmuffs. Let's go turn this shit off. How did they even get that in there? Okay, whatever. Avad, brother, you all right? All right, let's go. Let's go get Derval.
What's this? Oh. You must be the Nora who bushwhacked my camp.
And disabled your bomb.
Did you now? Well, bomb or no bomb, I'm gonna splatter that throne with blood. First yours, then Avad's.
Oh, yeah? Okay. So I gotta say, just as a... He's not a particularly compelling villain to me. I wish we got more backstory on him. Like, I wish we knew more about why this guy cares so much. You know? He's just kind of like a middle-aged, angry man.
This isn't over.
With a cool gun. All right, you know what? You know what? You know what, Avad? No, you know what, Avad?
Avad always have his ladies do the...
Go! Yeah! I can do it too! Yeah!
I've led an army.
Idiot.
Killed kestrels and ravagers. A savage is nothing.
It's gonna rain.
It's not over yet, Nora. Any good Oseram tinker will tell you. Always have a third plan.
Oh. Bring in your Glint Hawks. Should have brought Stormbirds. They're gonna pick him up. Oh. This isn't even that. What? I'll bring 4 Glinthawks.
Ah! Those majestic, murderous Glinthawks.
Uh-huh.
I hope you like fighting these things, because there's more in the way.
I really don't, but I'll deal with it, bud.
Never do the work if you can get a machine to do it for you.
Do you ever shut up? This guy's like This guy's Wile E. Coyote. This is why I don't take him seriously. This guy is Wile E. freaking Coyote.
I hope you like fighting these things, because there's more in the way.
How about this?
As much as I wish Ursa was here to kill you, I don't mind doing it for her.
No.
Go ahead. I'm not afraid. Except that knowing you, Erend, you'll screw it up.
I know what you are afraid of. Going back to Mainspring in chains. Every clan in the claim wants you dead, and they know how to make it hurt. They'll even bid for the privilege.
It's just like you to get someone else to do your killing.
Says the guy who just ordered Glinthawks to do the killing.
Shut up. You're at the Sun King's mercy now.
Actually, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that line. I'm not going to spoil another playthrough, but we had a very similar conversation about that line in one of the more popular playthroughs that I've done. So when that guy says, yeah, there you go, have somebody else do your killing. You know, I say tongue in cheek, well, you just did that. But that's kind of the point. There's a very real phenomenon that many, I don't know, not many, I guess, but like that some people will engage in, often for problematic reasons, which is to accuse people of doing something unsavory that you yourself are doing. And the reason that you do that is because many people will logically think that you don't want to be a hypocrite. Most of us assume that people aren't and don't want to be hypocrites. And so why would somebody accuse somebody else of doing something that they themselves are doing where there's essentially judgment around it? And it's to throw you off the scent. So he says to Aaron, yeah, you have other people do your killing. And the assumption is the people around him are going to go, yeah, because you wouldn't do that because you're Mr. Badass. You would absolutely do your own fighting. You'd never do that. So there's no way this guy brings in Glint Hawks and Goonies and all that stuff to do his bidding. This guy finishes all of his own stuff because he'd be a hypocrite if he called somebody else out on it if he didn't. But sometimes at its most complex, there are times where you should realize that the only reason a person would know to accuse somebody of doing something in particular is because they themselves have thought of it. So you can get some real information on people if you read a little bit in between the lines on that. And that right there was a great example of that. Yeah, every accusation is a confession. In certain positions, that is true. And this guy, he accuses Aaron of doing something that he did 5 minutes beforehand. Watch out for that kind of stuff, friends. It's a really good way to veil a person's actual behavioral activation and directives. Accuse people of something so they don't think to accuse you of it. I suppose something I don't understand just from like a consistency standpoint, that guy's earmuffs made it so that he couldn't hear this like profoundly annoying signal, made it so that he couldn't hear the explosion, yet perfectly capable of hearing dialogue. I wonder if he just kind of turned off the noise canceling on it or something like that. It's pretty sophisticated shit. Talk to Derval. Whoa. All right. Let's check on Avad first, though.
Aloy, to say you have my gratitude feels woefully insufficient. You saved my life. You saved Meridian. And because of you, there will be justice for Ursa's murder. We can mourn her knowing the truth, without painful uncertainty. It's hard to imagine where we'd be without you. And I don't want to try. I hope you will consider staying in Meridian.
Why do you want me to stay in Meridian?
I would think that would be obvious.
Not to me.
Huh. Well, to start with, you kept the city from going up in flames. You're strong, shrewd, and capable. I could use someone like you at my side.
I don't think Avad is out of bounds here. He hasn't said anything creepy or anything like that. There's a little bit of that, like, stumbling through that. I'm like, what do you mean by my side, big dog? I need to go my own way. No, I think I need to go my own way is the consistent response for Aloy. Like, yeah, I appreciate that, but I live by my own rules.
Thank you for the offer, but I don't think either you or I are ready for that. At least, not yet. I've got a long way to go before I find what I'm looking for, and it's gonna take me far from Meridian.
Of course. I didn't mean to presume. You are your own woman, just as Ursa was.
Whoa! So that is what he meant. Jesus. Whew. Well, man, this just went from like a conversation I could just go through to like one I have to dissect now, man. Wow. I mean, I have to give him credit for not making it uncomfortable for Aloy. Like, Aloy doesn't seem to be in any kind of discomfort on what it is that he's insinuating here. But, bro, you gotta be... He is in a bit of an unenviable position, okay? Because he wields an enormous amount of power. Enormous. He has so much influence. So when he makes a move, that is loaded. And it's tough because he can't exactly get away from that. Okay, so why I'm giving him credit here, where I was less likely to give Aaron the credit in the beginning of the game, is there's really no way that Avad can put that kind of sentiment out there and it not come with a huge amount of possible problems because of just who he is. So the fact that he approached that in the way that he did is about the best that he could do given those circumstances. But boy, is that tough, man. Because Aloy obviously is completely entitled to whatever kind of reciprocal feelings she might or might not have for him. And maybe there is some degree of interest there. I don't know why there would be really beyond him being the king and being a respectful guy as he has been for the last couple days, but Aloy doesn't exactly know him past his title. So it seems to me to be the right decision there to say I need to go my own way and now is not the time for that kind of thing, because I think that's what Aloy would actually say. But wow, what a bind that dude is in. Like, you gotta be really careful there. I am all for shooting your shot, but I am all for shooting your shot under the understanding of the power you wield relative to a person that you are standing with. Now, he did elevate her quite a bit there by saying how grateful he is for her. Like, he's not talking to her as somebody that he perceives as being a subordinate. He's not trying to wield a power dynamic on her. He can't get away from that just because he's the king. So he is trying to come at her from a scope of, I revere what you bring to the table and I admire it, and you have shown an amazing amount of utility. But he also hasn't had a chance to get to know Aloy the person. He knows Aloy the capable Nora warrior. So this thing would need time regardless of where they're at. It just needs time. And also, this, I didn't even mention the fact that he's grieving the death of Ursa. Like, this dude is emotionally compromised in that way. And he's going to need some time to, I think, get himself through that as well, because he's incredibly vulnerable. So when you have this profound vulnerability, and then you have the mix of like going through some grief, which adds to vulnerability. He was in danger and she saved him. Like, this is the kind of thing that is likely to exacerbate his desire for her in a way that I'm not saying is inauthentic, but in a way that he has to be very careful about. Rogue, that kind of information is not desirable. I don't want to know additional context. I don't want to know where the other things go. I appreciate the desire to inform, but no more of that, please. Ooh, there's a lot there. So do with that what you will, but man, that's not where I thought that was going. Not even remotely where I thought that was going.
Please, remember that you're always welcome here. I hope that today is just a sunrise for us, not a goodbye.
Were you and Ursa, you know?
I suppose it's obvious how I feel, how I felt about her. She didn't just give me advice. She gave me strength. But we couldn't be together. Relations between the Karja and Oseram and Meridian were unsteady as it was. The union of the Sun King and an Oseram warrior would have led to open revolt in the city. And probably war with the clans.
Did anyone know?
Only one. Derval. He wanted Ursa, but she rejected him. And so jealousy became yet another of his hateful motivations.
Oof. That sucks, dude. Like, that sucks. That he's in a position where even who you date has, like, actual political ramifications. That sucks.
What exactly will happen to Derval?
For now, he'll languish in one of the old cells under the Sun Ring here in Meridian. As for what happens after we negotiate his extradition to Mainspring, I don't want to think about it. My father was very creative when it came to inflicting suffering. But some Oseram devices surpass even his imaginings. What a waste. Derval is a brilliant man. I wonder what he would have accomplished if it weren't for my father's cruelty.
I know who attacked the Nora. A faction of Shadow Karja called the Eclipse. They're digging up ancient machines, weapons they want to use to strike Meridian.
I see. What you're saying echoes whispers I've heard from Murad. A Shadow Karja splinter group, corrupted machines across the land. When will the attack come, do you know?
I'm not sure yet.
And we will do what we can to prepare. Keep me informed if you learn more.
I like how methodical and thoughtful and non-impulsive Avad seems to be. Really important in a position of leadership. And also, him taking that no in stride is so sexy. But no, it's so important. Again, it's okay to shoot your shot. Even with the enormous amount of stuff around it, you know, at some point, like, you gotta hope that there is good intention behind it, and you really don't know until you start to see the patterns of behavior that exist behind it. But when Aloy says no there, and he goes, all right, you know, do your thing. I hope that this isn't the last time we see each other. I hope it's not goodbye, but I understand if it is. There are so many men in particular that need to understand that if you take that no in stride and you respect that no, not, oh, well, then they're going to like you. But that's a way better option. It is not an invitation to push the boundary. It's not an invitation to flirt further. It's not a, you just didn't shoot your shot the right way, bud, so try it again. Play till you win. It's not what it is. She says no. She says, I'm not interested. You take it at face value. You take it in stride and you move on. And if there was ever a chance that that person was going to come around, you doing it that way is the thing that's most likely to contribute to that. Maybe they won't come around. But him taking that no in stride is incredibly important, especially as a king, where he basically never has to take no as an answer. It's a really good example of how to handle that kind of position. And it's pretty cool to see. He's lived up to what we saw about him and read about him prior to meeting him. And that's not easy to do when you're in that kind of position. Thank you, Colbert. Eckelbert. Thank you. I do what I can. All right, Aaron. Now, this is a guy who's kind of bummed out because his sister's dead. The way he thought he was going to achieve a sense of relief from all of the pain that he's been experiencing was to inflict pain on Derval. He did not get the opportunity to do that. He kind of got talked out of it. Yeah, he got to whack him in the head. But this is a guy that now is grieving two things. One giant thing being his sister, one small thing relative to it of, I didn't get to experience the revenge that I so badly wanted. The way that I thought my grief would be resolved did not play out. So we want to be chill and warm in the way that we respond to him here and how we talk to him. If he's a bit excitable, we're not going to take it personally. This is a guy who's in enormous pain and is essentially being told more sophisticated ways to manage that than what he is used to. And I believe not that we have to handle him with kitty gloves, but that it would behoove us to be a bit more patient with him as a result of that. He's vulnerable.
Aloy, I was just thinking about Ursa. She would have killed Derval on the spot. I know it. That's why she went out to meet him in the first place, to put him down. But she also told me to grow up. I gotta admit it burned a little when she said that, but I'm trying to take it to heart. And I guess growing up means putting what you should do in front of what you want to do, right?
You're asking me? I'm pretty sure you're older.
Yeah, but I don't act like it, do I?
Oh, he was doing so good. He was doing so good. I'm not going to rip him a new one here because I don't think what he's doing is not bad, but he's doing really well there. That was awesome. Like, the way he internalized his sister, I think, is incredibly important. At some point, he's going to have to take that on as his own, and he's going to have to decide that doing what you should do instead of what you want to do is something that he subscribes to, not just something that his sister taught him. He can carry his sister around for sure, but he's got to stop attributing the good stuff that he does to his sister. This falls back into the splitting conversation that we had several episodes ago. He still has this idea that his sister is all good and he is all bad or incompetent. And we see that with that follow-up line. Aloy makes a little bit of joke, potentially to disperse some of the intimacy that's happening in this conversation. And he makes the, like, I don't act like it. At some point, Erend is going to have to decide to indulge a narrative that he is capable of the level of maturity and leadership and whatnot that the other people around him assume that he already has. He keeps tripping all over himself by putting these self-deprecating comments out here. And he does it more often in reference to his sister because of how much he reveres her. And it's interesting, right? Because what he says is she was going to go out there to kill him, I'm sure. And then says doing what you should do is more important than what you want to do, but doesn't recognize, hey, wait a second, maybe my sister going out there and acting that way is not ideal. Maybe that's not what she should have been doing. And maybe the way that I just handled it was good. He'd have to sort of reverse the split a bit there, which is likely going to move him closer to a more realistic integration of good and bad. But that's a really important moment for Erend there. And Aloy's not a therapist, so she doesn't know how to facilitate that conversation, and I have no expectation that she would. But if I'm sitting with Erend here, I'm saying to him, hey man, do you realize that when you bring up your sister, everything she can do no wrong, and you're this bumbling, incompetent idiot, yet what you just did, let alone talked about, is showed a level of competence and deference to the right thing that is ideal. And your sister didn't. So I really want to invite you into perhaps a more realistic portrayal of your sister, not just because we want to take her off the mountain, but because it's going to help you develop a more realistic interpretation of yourself. So that we're not living in this black and white world of Ursa great, Erend not, because that does neither of you any kind of service. If we want to get closer to the reality of what the two of you bring to the table, we got to start breaking some of this stuff down in a meaningful way.
You did with Derval.
Don't give me too much credit. Part of me still wants to wait for a quiet moment and wring his neck.
Yeah, but you won't. Because you're a good captain.
Come on, stop. You're gonna make me tear up.
Now, Aloy's doing what many people will try to do in this kind of scenario with somebody who shows up in the way that Erend is. Which is she's trying to push that positive narrative on him. She's trying to build him up. And look what he does. Look how resistant he is to that. He's like not taking it. It's really vulnerable, one, to do that. And two, he's so deeply entrenched in these narratives. He so heavily indulges them that the alternative brings about a lot of unknowns and brings about some of the big anxieties. Because the thing is, if Erend continues to adhere to this idea that he's a crappy leader who's like impulsive and bumbling, it gives him an excuse not to get himself involved in big decisions. It provides an opportunity for him to have an excuse for why something got messed up. If he indulges the narrative that Aloy is trying to bring to the table here for a minute and says, okay, well, maybe I am a capable leader. Maybe I do have it in me to make big decisions. Well, what does that mean? It means that he has to start stepping up. It means that he has to start leaning into moments that are probably pretty damn anxiety-provoking for him. and actually lead and deal with the consequences of that. And I think he has so much anxiety around that. It's a lot easier just to hold on to this narrative that I'm not good enough. A lot of times people will hide behind that narrative as a way to avoid further accountability for bigger stuff. What would it mean if I actually did know what I'm doing? What would it mean if I actually was fulfilled? What would it mean if I was happy or desired some of the things more prominently than I currently do? These are big questions that people have to answer, and it can be very difficult. So instead, he can just be like, nah, I'm an idiot. That's why I don't really get involved in that stuff. I just keep screwing up because I'm a dum-dum. As opposed to like, yeah, I'm a pretty capable leader who still has the capacity to mess up, because all of us have a capacity to mess up in the same way my sister did by trying to go out and kill Derval.
So, after all this, what's next for errand vanguardsman?
Heading back to the claim for a while. I'll get in touch with my clan and we'll lay Ursa to rest properly. Like how she would have wanted. And by that I mean less chit-chat, more drinking.
Maybe not. Maybe not, Erend. I'm a huge believer in seizing opportunities when they show themselves. Sometimes you have to make opportunities for yourself, but sometimes psychologically stuff will show up. And if you can look at these things as opportunities, you are already ahead of a lot of people in terms of implementing change in your life. This is such an important opportunity for Erend to develop an alternative coping strategy to his grief by not drinking, by getting into some of what we've been discussing here about creating a realistic narrative, by meaningfully engaging with his sister's death and the people around it and deciding, what do I want to do with this? How do I want to carry her? How do I want to manage the emotional experience that I have around it? Like, this is an opportunity for Erend to do something healthier for himself than immediately just get wasted like he has been up until this point. And if he doesn't see the opportunity in there, he is more likely to operate on the autopilot and drink and get stuck on the narratives and keep the split going with his sister. And that's not going to be good for him in the long run. I mean, I'm all for getting drunk at a person's celebration of life. I'm not suggesting that he shouldn't just drink at all. But when he immediately just throws that out there of like, I'm going to go back to drinking or whatever, it's like, dude, this is an opportunity for you to do different, particularly if that's something that you want for yourself. And I get a sense from him that it is.
What do you think the Oseram will do to Derval?
First off, they'll argue about it for a long time. But whatever they come up with, it won't be quick. I can live with that. In fact, I might just drop by his cell under the sun ring to remind him what's coming.
That's what you need to do?
I know. You gotta go. Killers to track, machines to master. All before breakfast. You know what? When we met, I thought I was a big shot talking to a pretty girl hidden away in the middle of nowhere. And now I see that I was just lucky to get a minute of your time. Try not to forget about me while you're out there changing the world.
I'll always have a minute for you. Maybe even two.
Two? Huh. She likes me.
I think that's all right. I don't think that was him like hitting on her again. I know I was pretty hard on him in the beginning, and I still believe he deserved that, but that right there I think is perfectly okay. They have rapport now, so it's a little bit easier to say something like that. You know, she can kind of joke back at him instead of being uncomfortable. Also, I just want to take a second to say that those of you that are still watching the video on YouTube, or those of you that are still stuck here through Twitch, through any of the raids or otherwise, thanks so much for watching these playthroughs and for making them part of your day or night. I really appreciate those of you that continue to keep this spoiler free and backseat free. It really helps with my ability to analyze the game with a level of like depth that it deserves. So I just appreciate all of you a lot, and I hope you've hit the thumbs up button. You should totally do that if you haven't done it yet. I won't judge.
One of these days, I'm gonna look him in the face and tell him I quit. Move along. You have no need to loiter.
All right, I do want to find his cell. I want to see if we can talk to him.
Everyone needs a splash of color in their lives. Come, let's talk it over.
I'm a guard, not the town crier. To me.
Oh, there he is. What's up, bud?
Come to gloat, Nora. Well, as you can see, busy. I get it. You want to rub it in? Well, it's not working. Ha ha. It's funny to pester the tinker in the cage. What a laugh. You think that bit of scrap on your brow makes you smart? I'll bet you couldn't have taken apart my bomb without it. Think I'm done? Think again. I've gotten out of worse scrapes. While the lunkheads in Mainspring dither over how to kill me, I'll dig myself out. Just you wait. When I get out of here, I'm gonna plant a thunderjaw lure in your bedroom.
Keep going. Talk all the shit you can, bud.
Gotta admit, it burns me that a savage tracked me down. Most Nora get confused by anything more than 2 sticks and a string. Don't you have something better to do? Like choke on a lancehorn. You think that spear of yours is so fancy, but I could craft it blindfolded during a quick nap.
It's just pathetic at this point, man.
Riding machines? Am I supposed to be impressed? Get one to serve me lunch, then I'll take notice. You're like a burr in a boot, you know that? Just so irritating. Hammered to steel. I hate you. Someday, I'm gonna build a machine with the specific purpose of pulling your braids out. By the great flaming forge, just leave me alone, Red.
I love that juxtaposed with like this like beautiful like religious experience that's happening up above us. That guy can't handle with the sense of powerlessness that comes along with that. Like, it doesn't square up with him that he would be in a subordinate position. So, you know, what does he do? He uses what all he has left, which is words. But it's just so funny because it's just empty threats because there's nothing he can do. He can't do anything with that. What is that supposed to do? And the worst thing that Aloy could do there is react to it. The best thing she could do is stand there in silence or just be like, yeah, come on, keep him coming. Because you take that power away when you do that. Like, if Aloy personalized any of that and got incensed by it, he wins. Like, he's poking just to see if she will react. And so if she doesn't react, then he's got nothing. So it's beautiful, the way that she handled that. Wow. All right, so we're going up north then, huh? I mean, I'm sure Nil would like it if I cleared out a couple bandit camps on the way. Actually, I don't even know. Is that the last bandit camp that I have to do? Maybe we just knock this one out on our way out. Would it give any more power to laugh at him while he says those things? It It would depend on how you laughed. You got to be careful not to have too strong of a reaction, and instead just sort of like let it be, because you still show that there's influence there. All right, bitch. Morning arrow.
That's got their attention.
Yeah. Where did that gun go? Where did the gun go? Where did the gun go? No gun? This guy's gonna be tougher than Red Maw if I don't get the gun. Oh, that's the gun I want. That one. Wait a minute. What's up, buddy? No, I don't want that.
Mine now.
I'll put that Thunderjaw lure in your bedroll. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll put it by your campfire. You really showed me, huh, chat? Yee! All right. I am not subtle when I do these. Alto, thank you for the 15 months.
She went that way. Here we are.
Where's the alarm? You gotta kill that alarm. Time to go Aloy Wick.
The bandits imprisoned these people.
Oh, good. They actually got it off. All right. That's right. That's right. Come on in. Come on in. It's my house. Who did that? The hell? Idiot.
Love it.
Done. do like that it makes it automatic daytime when I do these. Okay. Oh. All right, Nil. I guess I'm more like you than I wanted to let on, eh, brother? I should go this way, because that's the way that he is.
Yes, that ensemble befits a Karja hero.
That's me, Karja Hero. Oh, I don't love Nil. So...
It's so bittersweet. Like a smile through bloody teeth.
What's the matter? You look disappointed.
Oh, the bandit clans are gone. I hear another turned back at the southern plains, just at a sniff of the legend we carved.
That's what all this bloodshed was for, to end the bandit threat.
But now there's nothing left to kill. Unless... No.
I guess this is our last farewell.
After all we've been through, this isn't the place for that. There's a mesa south of Meridian with a view of the spear shafts. Meet me there.
Just to be clear, just to be abundantly clear, if this was real life, we're done. I'm not gonna go talk to Nil. We're done. Good enough. You kind of creep me out. You did this because you want to kill. I did this because I want to help people out. I don't know that I'm much better than you, but yikes, dude. I'm leaving him on read at this mesa. If this was, but because I learned from my Cyberpunk 2077 playthrough, I'm gonna go there and we're gonna see what he says. But let it be known that DrMick's choice would be to absolutely not go talk to him at all. Video games facilitate bad boundaries. Okay. Oh, thank God I already cleared this out, because this place sucked ass. What's up, dude?
No. I did wonder on my way here. Well, if you were luring me into an ambush.
Where's the fun in that? Some bandit sprawl would never have done for our arena. But this, much better. There's a sense of drama. So, what do you say? How about we try to kill each other?
Wait. You brought me out here to ask if I want to fight you?
To the death. We'll savor it because we only get this one time.
Actually, I don't know what else I expected.
Cue Michael Bluth meme. It's sort of an interesting if I kill him, I guess I don't have to worry about him just killing recklessly in other places. He seems to want it. I don't know. That's weird. I don't want to fight you. No. Why would I do that? I would no. I'm not putting myself at risk. No. Figure it out.
I'm flattered that you think of me this way, but I don't want to kill you.
Don't be hasty. When it's life against death, hunter against hunter, I know it'll come to you.
Is that really what you want, Nil? You know, I don't think you have a death wish. What you have might be worse, but I see there might be a need for you in this world.
I don't understand.
I won't fight you. That's my decision. You can respect it, or try to shoot me in the back as I go.
Baller.
Then it's over. Your last arrow is the cruelest.
Oh, poor guy. Poor Nil. Oh. I mean, look, he has shown to have such a propensity for killing that I don't think that was about him having a death wish. I think it's because he wanted a chance to kill Aloy. Like, what reason would I have to believe otherwise? I don't need that in my life. So, all right. Pretty simple guy. Probably more depth there. Wish we could learn more about it, but I don't know that he's the type of person to really like get us in on that. I mean, I prefer to take people at surface level until they show a desire to be looked at further, and I don't exactly get a sense that Nil is interested in actually being analyzed. Like, the guy wants to kill. He's got some clear past in being like in the military or some shit that has cultivated that, which we talked about a little bit when we met him. But Aloy doesn't have to follow him along on that. And again, if I was Aloy, I wouldn't have gone to that mesa in the first place. Yeah, he built his entire identity around being a hunter of bandits, and now the bandits are not around. Honestly, if anything else, it's a lesson about not putting all of your eggs of purpose in one basket. Because if it gets taken away, he's sort of like an athlete who dedicated their entire life to like playing basketball and then tore their Achilles. Like, and now he's like, what do I do with myself? Like, that's a very real thing that people have to go through. And it can really suck. So you want to spread yourself out a little bit if you can, because then you can find purpose in other things. Is really, in some ways, I think, the moral of that story. Because, yeah, he's all bummed out because everything he's known for however long is that he kills people. That's his entire identity, and he feels justified in doing so. Yeah, gimme. Work. Damn it. No! I didn't realize there was another one over there. Yeah, hermit crab, where's your shell? Jeez. A lot of enemies in one spot, man. Oh. There we go. So Nil lives for his work and is nothing without that. I mean, if you're not careful, that is what can happen. Is you dedicate yourself to one thing. Again, I mean, if dedicating yourself to that one thing is sustainable in some way for you, you know, more power to you. But you have to be very careful with that, because if you put all your chips in that basket and that basket gets taken away, a lot of people are left with a significant amount of anxiety of essentially, what do I do now? What is my purpose now? What is going on here? Man, y'all are just... You're welcome!
I'd love to speak with you.
Yeah? Would ya? Got something cool for me?
Mother be praised. Can I talk to you?
What the hell? Did you Skyrim climb up here too?
I'm alive thanks to you. Let me give you this for your trouble.
Generous reward box. Oh, wow. I bet it's filled with some sticks, huh? Some sticks that I could have collected on the ground over here and not put myself at risk to get. Thank you. We need to be... I guess we could take this side of the river. Alright, so I want to get that flower, and I want to get the Banuk figurine. I want to go over this way, so... Aloy, let's get across that cold river, huh? More machines. You worked really hard to get those sticks for your reward? Alright. Fair. I'll try to be more grateful. What up?
Looks like we're introduced.
Not interested. I'm just passing through, guys. Good night, King. Appreciate you, bud.
Just stay out of their way for now. I hear some... Boy, you really gotta, like, pick one or the other, huh? Alright. Oh, see, but there's cool old machine stuff over here. Please give me some lore. I want more lore to read. Yeah, no. Damn it. Oh, there's a storm bird over here. Jeez. Alright, man. Oh no, glint hawks. Alright, I thought that was storm bird. Ooh. What is this? Some cool Banuk looking stuff over here. Let's go get this figurine. I'm actually excited to meet the Banuk. I like all their colors and
paintings, willingness to engage with brevity. Nice. Go. Ah, no! Holy shit, Aloy. What are you doing? Oh, man. I almost killed you again. Hoya. Oof. This one's, Alright. Grab and go. Tick-tock. In my exile, I often envision your eyes, wide and blue and dumbstruck, as the body of Signac, our chieftain, was laid before you. The Werex saw how I looked at his mate, Illy, your mother. To them, my guilt was as plain and sharp as the crack of spring ice. As they stripped me bare and left me to die on the glacier, the warmth of life departed me, but not the bitter will to hunt, to strive, to survive. Perhaps to prove I needed no one, least of all those who wronged me. I'm only at peace when I paint my marks and craft these offerings to you, though they will never touch the warmth of your hands. It's very clear to mention that every time. This is never going to reach the warmth of your hands. I gotta like... Oh, baby! Woo!
This has to be the Banuk camp that Vilgan told me about. So what happened to the other mercenaries he sent?
Great question, Aloy. I guess we'll find out in part 19. YouTube, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I appreciate it immensely. Leave a like on your way out. Leave a comment if you feel so inclined, and follow the other links in the description. Would love to see you on Twitch sometime, or would love to see you somewhere else, TikTok, etc. It's really, I enjoy every single piece of this game, and I hope that you've been enjoying it as well. I hope that my analysis has been meaningful and informative in some way. We got plenty more to come in part 19. So if you're binging, I'll see you in the next episode. And if you're waiting for the next one to come out, we'll get it out as soon as we possibly can. Thank you for all your support. Catch you on the next one.